Marriage is not just a union of two souls. It is a divine partnership formed under the watchful eye of God. A husband and a wife, when rightly joined, do not merely live together, they co-create a world. They multiply faith. They amplify purpose. And when God is the center of that relationship, it is not just a home that is built, it is a fortress. There is an invisible yet unmistakable law that governs success, happiness, and fulfillment in marriage. That law is spiritual alignment. Where there is harmony with God, there is power. Where the husband and wife walk in unity before Him, there is no force on earth that can destroy their union. But where the ego enters, where selfishness, bitterness, or pride invades, that sacred bond begins to fracture. Let it be clearly understood, the man is not superior to the woman, nor is the woman superior to the man. Each has been divinely designed with purpose. The husband carries the weight of leadership, not of domination, but of service. He is to lead by example, by sacrifice, by wisdom and patience. The wife is the heart of the home, the nurturer, the discerner, the silent force that holds the unseen strands together. When both understand their divine assignments and submit themselves to the Creator, marriage becomes every successful man I've known, every kingdom builder, every inventor, dreamer, and warrior for greatness. Somewhere in his story, there was a woman who believed in him. Not a woman who idolized him, but one who saw who he could become and stood by him while he became it. And every truly fulfilled woman I've known had beside her a man who valued her deeply, who listened not only to her voice, but to her silence, a man who didn't just provide money, but peace, not just security, but presence. You see, many homes today are chaotic because they are operating without the blueprint. God is the architect. He created the design of marriage. And when His voice is ignored, confusion becomes the default. It is not love that keeps a marriage strong, it is agreement. Agreement in vision. Agreement in values, agreement in spirit. Love is not just a feeling, it is a decision, a daily discipline, a commitment to rise above moods and emotions and choose connection over division. But without God, even the strongest love will wear thin. Without divine alignment, affection fades, respect wanes, and bitterness creeps in like a thief in the night. Now understand this, the enemy of your marriage is not your spouse. It is anything that tries to pull your heart away from purpose. The enemy is the voice that tells you you're not appreciated. The enemy is the temptation to focus on your spouse's weakness instead of their strength. The enemy is the spiritual laziness that keeps you from praying together, dreaming together, and fighting together as one. A man without a vision for his home will drift. A woman without emotional safety will begin to shut down. And a couple without God will be like a ship sailing without a compass, moving but lost. You must become intentional. The husband must speak life, not just provide resources. He must see himself as a priest, a protector, a prophet over his household. His words must carry power, his presence must carry calm, and his leadership must carry humility. That is the mark of a strong man, not dominance, but surrender to God. And the wife must understand her worth is not defined by comparison, nor by culture, nor by applause, but by the one who made her. She must know that submission is not weakness, it is divine strength under control. She is not secondary, she is essential. She is not lesser, she is royalty. When she prays, the atmosphere changes. When she speaks life, generations are blessed. When a husband and wife kneel together in prayer, heaven moves. When they agree on purpose, hell trembles. When they commit to walk in integrity, serve in unity, and forgive quickly, they become unstoppable. Because they are no longer building with their own hands, they are allowing God to build through them. Do not think for a moment that a great marriage is a coincidence. It is a consequence. It is the result of spiritual discipline, mental clarity, emotional maturity, and a relentless commitment to honor the covenant. You cannot expect blessings without order. You cannot expect peace while operating in rebellion. You cannot expect joy while speaking curses over each other. Your words have creative power. You are either building or breaking your spouse every day by what you say. And let me tell you, when a man prays for his wife and a wife prays for her husband, the bond that is formed is unshakable. When you take time not just to talk, but to listen, to sit in stillness before God, to open the Word together, not as a chore, but as a lifeline. You start to grow roots deep into the soil of truth. The storms will come, they always do, but storms don't destroy deeply rooted trees. Financial trouble may come, health challenges may come, children may go astray, the world may mock your values, but if your roots go down into God and your hearts are turned toward each other, you will not be shaken. Success in marriage is not about being problem-free. It's about learning how to face problems side by side, not face-to-face in combat. It's about building trust, brick by brick, day by day, through consistent actions, humble conversations, and shared dreams. There will be moments when you are tempted to give up. There will be seasons of silence. There will be tears, but let those tears water your faith. Let the silence drive you to prayer. Let the pain remind you that you are still alive and still capable of choosing love again. You must learn to fight, not with each other, but for each other. Fight for the vision, fight for the future, fight for the faith. Your marriage is not just about you, it is about legacy. It is about the children who will rise and bless your name. It is about the people who will find strength in your example. It is about proving to a broken world that commitment still works, honor still matters, and God still heals. The greatest gift you can give your spouse is not perfection, but pursuit. Pursue God with all your heart. Pursue their heart with consistency. Pursue wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Be teachable, be humble, be quick to listen and slow to speak. And never, ever underestimate the power of inviting God into the center. When He is the third strand in your cord, the anchor in your storms, and the foundation beneath your home, everything changes. Where God is, peace flows. Where God is, wisdom reigns. Where God is, restoration is possible. The husband, the wife, and God is a force that no devil can destroy, no culture can cancel, no weakness can shatter. So today, make the decision. If your marriage is strong, go deeper. If it's hurting, fight harder. If it's broken, invite the healer in. Because when two people agree with God, the impossible becomes inevitable. If it's broken, invite the healer in. Because when two people agree with God, the impossible becomes, and what begins as a covenant becomes a kingdom. Ambitions. He sees her as his divine complement. She is not a distraction from his calling, she is part of it. And the wife does not see her husband as merely a source of provision. She sees him as a king who leads not from a throne, but from his knees in prayer. When the home becomes a place of peace instead of pressure, of grace instead of constant correction, of vision instead of vague survival, then something powerful begins to happen. God does not bless chaos. He blesses order. He blesses alignment. He blesses unity. And unity is not uniformity. It is harmony. It is two different instruments playing the same song, led by the same conductor. That's what a husband and wife are. Two individuals with distinct roles, perspectives, and strengths, but called to move in rhythm. The rhythm of heaven, the cadence of purpose. But how often have we seen marriages broken, not because of infidelity, but because of neglect, not because of hatred, but because of spiritual indifference? You cannot treat marriage like a contract and expect covenant results. Contracts are based on performance. Covenants are based on identity and commitment. A contract says, I'll hold up my end as long as you do. A covenant says, I'm here even when you fall, because this is bigger than us. A man who fears God will never abuse a woman. A woman who honors God will never destroy her man with her words. The root of dysfunction in relationships is not communication problems, financial stress, or unmet expectations. Those are symptoms. The root is spiritual misalignment. When the soul is right with God, the mouth speaks differently. The hands act differently. The heart softens. Pride is replaced with patience. Control is replaced with trust. Demands are replaced with servanthood. And what happens in the marriage affects everything else. You cannot build a successful life while your home is falling apart. What good is a promotion if your children are starving for your attention? What good is financial success if you and your spouse have become polite strangers passing like shadows in the night? It is in the daily, unseen sacrifices, the small moments of tenderness, the whispered prayers, the self-restraint in the middle of frustration, that great marriages are forged. It is not just grand gestures that build love. It's the consistent ones, the checking in, the active listening, the willingness to say, I was wrong, or how can I support you, or let's pray about this together. The man must lead, but not as a dictator. He must lead like Christ led, by washing feet, by embracing responsibility, not running from it. He must lead spiritually. The most powerful thing a man can do in his home is be the spiritual thermostat. When he sets the tone in prayer, in gratitude, in faith, and in vision, he lifts the entire household into alignment with heaven. And the woman must know that her prayers are prophetic. Her insight is powerful. Her gentleness is not a weakness. It is a weapon against the spirit of division. She sets the atmosphere of the home. She can build or break the spirit of her husband with her tone. When she speaks life, she multiplies joy. When she intercedes, she tears down strongholds. The enemy fears a couple that prays together. He fears a husband who fasts for his wife. He fears a wife who walks in discernment. He fears a home that is not just decorated with Scripture, but is governed by it. He fears a marriage that refuses to bend to culture and chooses to build on truth instead. Many couples get married expecting magic, but marriage is not magic. It is war. It is ministry. It is the most sacred battlefield where your patience, love, and faith will be tested over and over again. And you do not win this battle by emotion. You win it by principle. You win it by the Spirit. You win it by dying daily to your ego, to your impatience, to your fear, and choosing again to love. Love is not convenient, it is costly, but it pays dividends in peace, in power, and in legacy. Because when you love the right way, with God at the center, you don't just bless your own life, you change the blood. You raise children who know how to love. You create a legacy of wholeness. You become the turning point for generations. Never forget, the world doesn't need more romantic fairy tales. It needs more holy marriages, more examples of covenant love, more couples willing to stand and say, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. More husbands willing to pray like warriors. More homes that reflect heaven instead of chaos. Your marriage is not just a gift to each other, it is a calling. And when you walk in that calling with God at the center, you will experience what most only dream about. So I say to you now, husband, rise up. Wife, rise up. Not in pride, not in control, but in purpose. Let your marriage be the proof that God still joins what man cannot separate. Let your love be the evidence that faith still works, that unity still wins, and that God still reigns over homes that welcome him in. The world is watching. Your children are watching. Heaven is watching. You have been entrusted with something eternal, something holy, something powerful, a covenant. This is not just about feeling close or staying together. This is about becoming something greater than yourselves. when the husband takes his place, when the wife takes hers, and when God takes the center, hell cannot prevail, confusion cannot remain, and failure cannot take root. You do not need a perfect marriage. You need a purposeful one. You don't need to feel strong. You need to stand strong. Let your home echo with prayer. Let your hearts be tethered by trust. Let your future be built not on emotion, but on truth. Because when the husband leads with love, when the wife covers in faith, and when God reigns as king, what you build together will outlive you. You are not just building a marriage. You are building a monument to the goodness of God. Let it stand tall. Let it stand strong. And let it stand forever.